The MMA world was stunned when Khamzat Chimaev demolished Robert Whittaker last October. Many believed the Chechen Wolf had earned his shot at middleweight gold. But behind closed doors, the UFC had other plans. Plans that would shock even the most hardcore fans. Instead of Chimaev, the promotion moved forward with the Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland rematch. But there's something about this decision that nobody's talking about, and we'll reveal that game-changing detail shortly. Breaking his silence in a recent interview, Chimaev dropped major news. The UFC wants him to face the du Plessis-Strickland winner in May or June. Not only that, he's already planning an October title defense in Abu Dhabi. However, this timeline hangs by a thread, depending on how brutal the UFC 312 main event turns out to be. The MMA world received a jaw-dropping revelation about fighter pay that nobody saw coming. When UFC 311's official payouts were released, Renato Mono's $250,000 purse for stepping in against Islam Makhachev seemed decent enough. But there's something about UFC's payment system that would shock even the most hardcore fans. A detail we'll uncover shortly. During an appearance on the Show Me the Money podcast with Gilbert Burns, Moano couldn't contain his excitement when discussing his actual earnings. When Burns playfully set the over-under at 9 Bitcoin, roughly $950,000 at the time, Mono's reaction said it all. He went way over. This revelation becomes even more intriguing when you consider that champion Islam Makhachev's official payout was listed at just $200,000, though his real earnings, including pay-per-view points, likely soared past 7 figures. The story gets deeper when you look back at Anthony Pettis' previous revelations about the UFC's mysterious mailbox money. Those secret post-fight bonuses that never make the official reports. Sources close to the situation suggest this practice is more common than fans realize, with Moano's short-notice check being just another example of how the UFC's reported payout numbers rarely tell the full story. Meanwhile, in a development that has the light heavyweight division buzzing, Alex Pereira just squashed all rumors about potentially moving to heavyweight. Instead, he's charging straight toward a championship clash with Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313. Despite recent unfounded reports suggesting he might dodge this challenge, Pereira set the record straight in an ESPN interview. "I did say I wanted to take a break, but after returning to training and seeing my evolution, I called my managers right away. I want to fight in March. I want Ankalaev." In an interesting twist, Pereira also weighed in on Jamahal Hill's recent setback against Jiri Prochazka. Despite their heated exchange at the PI back in December, Pereira showed unexpected sportsmanship. "I have absolutely no problem with him. We're both the same. Sometimes I'll make fun before the fight, or he'll say something about me, but tomorrow we're going to hold hands and respect each other. All the turmoil that was created is part of the sport." Hill's path back to title contention remains uncertain, but in the unpredictable world of MMA, comebacks often right themselves. The MMA world is still buzzing about a controversial pre-fight incident that could have changed UFC 311's main event outcome. And trust me, there's a shocking detail about this story that nobody's talking about, but we'll get to that bombshell later. Champion Merab Dvalishvili found himself in hot water after claiming he'd outsmarted the California State Athletic Commission, CSAC, by hiding a nasty shin injury before his fight with Umar Nurmagomedov. The cut, which required multiple stitches, had gone viral on social media. But here's where things get interesting, and what happens next will completely change how you view pre-fight medical screenings. CSAC director Andy Foster quickly fired back through Ariel Helwani's show, dropping a stunning revelation. They knew about Dvalishvili's injury since December. Not only that, but they had already granted him approval to tape the injury and wear a neoprene sleeve. After thorough medical review, the wound was deemed healed and non-contagious, clearing him for competition. Speaking of clearances, there's an untold story about fighter medical screenings that will shock you. But we'll reveal that later in our breakdown. The drama didn't end there. Following his victory, Dvalishvili took to Instagram with a clever jab at Nurmagomedov, photoshopping his face over an old picture of Umar with Dana White and Hunter Campbell, the very image Umar had posted when the fight was first announced. Talk about getting the last laugh. Meanwhile, the lightweight division is about to witness what could be the fight of the year. Dan Hooker is set to face Justin Gaethje in a 5-round co-main event at UFC 313, supporting the Pereira vs. Ankalaev headliner. The Hangman, speaking to the New Zealand Herald, made his intentions crystal clear. Everyone loves to watch his fights, but does he have that championship caliber skill? I feel like going out there and not only beating Justin Gaethje, but outclassing him will answer a lot of those questions. For Hooker, ranked 5th at 155, a win would mark his 4th straight victory and potentially earn him a shot at the title, joining the ranks of contenders like Arman Tsarukyan and Charles Oliveira. However, for Gaethje, coming off a devastating knockout loss to Max Holloway at UFC 300, another defeat could spell the end of his championship aspirations. A fascinating chess game is unfolding in the UFC's bantamweight division, and there's a behind-the-scenes story that nobody's talking about, one that could reshape the entire title picture. But we'll get to that explosive detail shortly. Corey Sandhagen just sent shockwaves through the division with an unexpected move. Following Merab Dvalishvili's victory over Umar Nurmagomedov, Sandhagen made it clear that despite believing he matches up well with the champion, he's not interested in that fight, especially after his own loss to Nurmagomedov in August. Instead, he set his sights on a different target, and his reasoning will surprise you. In a fresh YouTube video, Sandhagen called out Sean O'Malley, arguing against the idea of a Dvalishvili-O'Malley rematch. Let's be real, O'Malley has no business fighting Merab for an immediate rematch, Sandhagen declared. He got beat up in the first fight. He's going to get beat up in the second fight. No one wants to see that fight. I'm not booked yet. I want to fight. I am so damn bored. I'll even give this fool as much time as he wants, the way that O'Malley gave him as much time as he wants. The call-out quickly gained traction in the MMA community, with fellow fighter Chase Hooper voicing his support for the potential matchup. However, given the UFC's previous promotional push behind O'Malley before his title loss to Dvalishvili, the promotion might still favor an immediate rematch, leaving Sandhagen's position in limbo. Meanwhile, the combat sports world witnessed 2 explosive incidents. A massive brawl erupted between Dagestani and Irish fans following the Usman Nurmagomedov versus Paul Hughes weigh-ins, though footage remains limited due to platform guidelines. Then, BKFC's Knucklemania 5 press conference took an unexpected turn when UFC fighter Joe Pfeiffer crashed the event, targeting Jeremy Stephens while supporting Philadelphia's Eddie Alvarez. Jeremy Stephens is 29-21, lost in both promotions with a losing record. Definitely isn't the hardest-hitting 145er out there, Pfeiffer declared, even taking shots at Stephens' haircut before backing his Philly compatriot Alvarez. Just when the combat sports world thought they'd seen it all, a familiar face took center stage at the BKFC Knucklemania 5 press conference. And what happened next would leave fans questioning everything they thought they knew about one of MMA's biggest stars. But before we reveal that bombshell, let's set the scene. After Joe Pfeiffer's unexpected interruption, none other than BKFC part owner Conor McGregor made his grand entrance. The notorious one burst onto the scene with his trademark energy, ready to hype up the Philadelphia crowd. "I'm the big boss around here, Philadelphia. What's up? I'm here to summon the seas of fighting to action," McGregor proclaimed. But something was different. Eagle-eyed fans quickly noticed McGregor appearing winded, struggling to catch his breath between words. His promo, while still characteristically dramatic, came out in labored bursts. "May they turn our combatants' knuckles to knives. May we all bleed in the honor of Philadelphia's rich fighting history." The former double champion went on to describe his night out exploring Philly's bars and sampling cheesesteaks, even throwing support behind the Eagles. The MMA community's reaction was swift and concerning. "He genuinely looks worse and worse with every appearance," one fan noted. Others were more direct. "Dude is out of his mind," and man went from 5-round fights to barely holding his breath while words desperately dribble out of his mouth. Some fans reflected on his journey. "Conor McGregor's downfall is actually so sad. Props to him for the crazy amount of money he made, but it destroyed him." Despite the speculation about his condition, McGregor hasn't lost sight of his fighting future. In an impromptu interview with Jack Knorr of Home of Fights, he made his intentions clear. "UFC, let's bring home." The big question remains, When will fans see the notorious one back in the octagon? Speaking of seeing more action, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the world of MMA, make sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. We're bringing you the most detailed breakdowns and behind-the-scenes stories that other channels won't tell you. Plus, you won't want to miss what happens next in the McGregor saga. Trust me, it's going to be explosive.